The third season of the Thrive Project is the season of experimentation. And it is here that we ask the question, how are we going to do what we feel God is calling us to do? This leads us into a discussion of the differences between the technical and adaptive, between a technical problem and an adaptive challenge, between a technical solution and adaptive change. Technical problems and technical solutions are represented by the photo of this man on a journey. What can you know about this man's path from looking at this picture? Stop the video and discuss for a few minutes. Adaptive challenges and adaptive change is represented by what we see in this picture. What can you know about the path in this picture? Stop the video and discuss for a few minutes. Harvard Business School professor Ronald Heifetz describes the differences between the technical and adaptive. Heifetz says the technical is filled with clear goals, known methods, current knowledge, and available resources. We are familiar with our roles and we have adequate competency. The change is predictable and manageable. We are who we are and we know what we need to do and what we need to be. The adaptive is murkier, and we aren't sure what to do or how to do it. The road is unclear and we need to learn new things. Even the resources are not identified, and the roles and competencies are very unfamiliar. Change is unpredictable and even uncontrollable. We need to become different, but we're not sure what that different even looks like. The difference between the technical and adaptive is described in the chart below. With technical problems, even defining the problem is rather easy because the problem is clear and known, and also the solution is clear and known. We know how to use existing skills and knowledge to solve the problem. And we delegate the solving of this problem to experts and authorities with education and experience and skills. Often we delegate it to paid staff. With an adaptive challenge, we can't just assign this to paid staff because adaptive challenges are the work of the entire body. And even defining the problem requires learning and exploration of everyone involved in the church. It's often experienced as risk. Solving the problem is also a matter of learning and change, which is often experienced as loss. And again, who does the work? Well, we all do the work because facing the challenge is a journey of growth. And it's not growth as we normally think about it in terms of numbers and money, but it's growth of hearts and minds. In other words, an adaptive challenge requires a spiritual response. Russ Crabtree is a church consultant that has worked with over 1,300 mainline churches. And over the past 5 years, he looked at a study of what helps a church grow or what leads it to decline. He identified 3 things that are most important: adaptability, high energy, and clarity of vision. But when we think about adaptability, he noted that churches that are more conservative theologically and adaptive, they had a growth rate of 1% over the last 5 years. Churches that were more progressive and adaptive declined by 5.7%. However, churches that were progressive but not adaptive declined by 11.4%, and conservative and not adaptive churches declined by 16.7%. The takeaway from Crabtree's research is that regardless of one's theology or social ethics, it's better to be adaptable than not adaptable. We might think of it as Presbyterians as being the church reformed, always reforming, is better than being the church reformed but not reforming. How adaptive are you? Business author Jim Collins wrote, "Whether you prevail or fail, endure or die, depends more on what you do to yourself than on what the world does to you." That's both good theology as well as good ecclesiology. We live in difficult times. We live in a changing culture. But who we are as the body of Christ still matters. And how we respond to the Spirit's call to us as individual Jesus followers, but also as the faith community, matters even more. Go ahead and pause the video for some discussion about your adaptive changes. What is one adaptive challenge your church has engaged, or at least tried to engage? What went well? What went poorly? What did you learn?